Okay, here we go. Sacco, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
We call him Sacco because that's his name.
His name is Matthew, but we call him Sacco.
Just so you guys know, because you guys are probably confused.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. Anyways,
It's his name. Call him
Sacco.
Wait, hold on, pause. Everybody, I want you guys to refer to him as Sacco from now on.
From now on. Any
I
comments?
know it's MGN. It's MGN.
If Matthew does not exist
Sacco,
anymore. You're right, Matthew. We're like Matthew who?
C-O.
That's his
Sacco,
name
that's
from
his
now
name.
on.
S-
It is
S-
MGN Films, but his name is Sacco now. We're just gonna call him Sacco. Continue.
Anyways, getting to the point. Sacco, he's the one who edited the entire movie the morning of.
Well, most of the movie. You
Most
guys
of the
edited it too.
Yeah, but most of the movie,
Yes,
he did it
fiction.
all. He's got the title as editor, so Sacco, to begin. How did it feel to do a feature film? To edit a feature film?
At the beginning, it wasn't that bad. Like we had little bits and pieces, and then once we started, because we didn't really edit much during the summer. We wanted to film most of during the summer, so once we had the whole film on my computer, it was kind of overwhelming. It was a lot of footage. There was at least how many? It was about 4 hours a day. How many days? About 16.
Oh,
So
boy.
that's almost like 100 hours of
There's
footage.
like an hour of footage for every
yeah.
3 minutes of
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of footage.
And along with the footage, we just got an audio equipment now. We just have audio equipment now.
Yeah.
So along with that came the audio files.
Also, yeah, the mic, because we just got the mic before we started filming the morning of. So the first couple of rolls were pretty much testing out the microphone, and we actually found out a problem with some of the equipment we bought for the microphone. The audio it wasn't going from the microphone to the recorder properly. So we actually had
The left
to,
channel wasn't working.
no, it was the right one. I think it was the right one.
So one of the channels.
One of the directional audios that wasn't working, so we had to pretty much
Switch the cord.
reconfigure how we set up the audio.
The poll and
Yeah.
Okay. What was the most difficult scene to edit, in your opinion?
I'm gonna go ahead and say the interrogation scene, not because it was the longest, because it was the most going on. Because it had everything, like the conversations, fights. It had like suspense, had everything in it. And you had to like incorporate all that. It had flashbacks. What else did it have?
Fights.
Yeah,
you said fights,
special effects, like it had
Oh,
yeah.
gunshots
Gunshot.
and sounds and stuff.
Yeah.
So like the Foley for that also, that was kind of also overwhelming because there was a lot of punches, footsteps, scuffles, all that stuff.
So
Wait, what was the most fun? That's kind of building on that question. What was the most fun thing that you had to edit? Yeah, the most
best
exciting thing, the thing you were really proud of when you
After it was
like,
done.
wow, that looks really good. I'm really happy with the way. it
Probably when Johnny took the shot over Giancarlo's head, and there was that ringing, there was a whole point of just like distress.
Absolutely.
That was pretty good. Once we finished that, me and Nick
gosh.
kind of looked at each other and was like, "This is it right here. This is good."
and any other scenes? No.
Also, the flashback.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was
good.
that was a good one
Talk
too.
about the flashback because I know there's something interesting about
Yeah, because so the flashback we kind of forgot about it, and when we watched it over a
I
couple
think that was
times,
the last thing we did.
yeah, it was because we watched it over a couple of times, and then we were like, "Oh crap, we forgot the flashback when Andrew punches Giancarlo's character
That's
in
how
the
he
face."
remembers everything.
Yeah, so we realized that's a pretty important part of the movie. We kind of have to add that in there, so we put it in, and we didn't really have an idea of what the flashback wanted to look like. We just put the clips in, and then we kind of built upon it as we put clips in.
It was interesting. It was interesting that was the last thing that you did, but yet it looked so good.
Yeah, most of it was Nick's idea. Like we put the clips in, we kind of color corrected it and made it look kind of how we wanted. And then as we were doing that, we kind of thought, hey, let's put like one of his
Memory
messages
filter
in
on
there,
it.
and then put like the voices at the end, kind of like speed it up a little bit, so almost like he's coming back to his senses. That was all like happening as we were editing. We didn't have that planned before.
Yeah.
So hold on, I have a question. Before I ask this question, I want you to explain what it's like editing with Nick. Just
With Nick? Oh man.
This is great.
Nick is the worst backseat editor ever. He's we sit down at my computer and we have two monitors. The one has all the clips and then one has the timeline where we can see how everything works. And Nick will sit on my left and he'll ask me to do something. I haven't done it yet and he already thinks it's wrong. Like I haven't even dragged the clip in, he already thinks it's too long. He gets overexcited as we're editing. He's too into the movie.
Very frustrated. He's a
Sometimes.
perfectionist. The movie looks great after he does it.
Oh yeah, no. Don't get me wrong. his influence is it's
Probably
crucial.
what
It's
drives
what
us.
bring the entire product together. But sometimes
He's
just
creative.
he takes it a little too far. He gets a little overzealous. He gets a little crazy.
Yes.
So now I'm gonna ask the question. Oh man, I forgot my question. Okay, so
I have a question in the meanwhile. Do you feel like the way you edit certain clips together influences the feel of the movie and how the audience is going to portray the feel of it and stuff?
Yeah, like for some of the slower scenes, you kind of want longer clips because you wanted the audience to kind of see because if you have a longer clip, it's almost like you're looking at the same thing for a long time. You're kind of like calm. And then the Marty scene, there was so much going on in the kitchen. We kind of wanted it to be cut up like a lot, so the audience was as chaotic as the scene is. I mean, we want the audience to feel what's happening in the movie. Yeah. So we use the editing and filming and all that all comes together to make the audience feel.
I got my question.
How you want.
So now we talked about what it was like editing with Nick in particular. How it's difficult because he's so smart.
Yeah, because in getting his idea.
Yeah.
It's like
getting his idea onto the screen is almost impossible.
Yeah,
but
we get it done.
Do you find it difficult as being the lead editor trying to get your opinions across when Nick is there?
At the beginning, he didn't really like. At the beginning, I think it was mostly me. Now, by the end, he wanted it to be like his way, and he wanted to get it done as quickly as possible because we were kind of like running out of time. So me and you, we tried to pitch in ideas and he just shot them all down. We did them anyways. We would do them anyways and he was like, oh yeah, that's kind of better. But most of the time we did go with what Nick wanted because he was the director. He already had the movie, the entire movie
had the image
in his mind. He knew exactly what he wanted. So if we wanted to do something different, it had to be really good. It had to be better
than what he's
Right.
So
that's very true actually. That's a good point because when you're directing a film, like the director basically is like the creative mind behind how everything looks, right? You have the idea behind it, and you're the one who makes it look the way it looks, right? You have the creative capability of all that. So, as an editor, you have to be able to like work with the director, right?
Yeah.
Even if he's really annoying like me.
So
work with the director, try and get his image across, right? But when you do have better ideas.
Sometimes.
And then I'll be like, yeah, you're right.
Like we all have.
I won't enjoy saying that you're right, but you are right.
So as an MGNFilms editor, you are his.
I'm like his hands. He's the brain and I'm the hands.
That's exactly what I wanted to get at. So that's how
I just have to do what he thinks.
I am the dream.
Yeah.
Me and Johnny here, we are the dream. Nick is the dreamer, and you are his mind.
I am the doer. I am the person
who
does.
Put it on there, yeah.
Continue. Do you have a question?
I did.
I have a question.
Oh yes, talk about editing action sequences and how you do it, what you want to get out of it, and how it's different from editing like a conversation.
It depends on the action sequence. Like I said, like you want to, if it's not like the Marty scene, it was chaotic. There were like so many things going on at once. So you wanted that whole action scene to be chaotic. Where like the interrogation, it was when it was just Marcel and Giancarlo. It was, you didn't want it to be too chaotic, but you didn't want it to be too slow, because it's still a fight scene. Like it's still an action scene, but you don't want it to be too crazy. Because there was only two people and like it kind of flow. You wanted it to flow. Like an action scene, it can't be like you're talking all of a sudden an action scene comes on. You have to make it flow with the movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
I have actually two questions. One of them relating to the action scene, how you said making it flow. Making it flow goes pretty much, as an editor, goes pretty much for all kinds of scenes. You have to make it all flow, right?
Yeah.
So what happens for other people out there when they're editing and they see something is not going right? What do you do when something's not going right? Like, what are your options?
While they're
Scrapping
filming
it?
Or while
no, editing. We're talking strictly editing here. When something's not going your way and something's not looking right, what your options are scrapping it. What do you do?
Well, you're gonna want to do as much as possible. I would usually, if something I didn't see was right, like if the thing I saw wasn't right, I would call Nick, tell him about it, and we would figure out a solution with the clips we had. And we usually could, but if in odd case in which you can't, you might have to do a reshoot.
Yeah.
Right, but most of the time I was there with Nick.
Yeah.
So if while we were filming I saw something wasn't looking right, I would tell him and fix him so that after I knew exactly like I wanted this to look like this, so we took this shot after we took all these ones. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because there's always like the editor, like it's like Nick has his own idea, but you have your own idea and you want to
merge.
Yeah, pretty much. because Nick has his own shots, I have my own shots, and you sometimes have your own shots.
I basically act, so
but sometimes
whatever shot I want.
Yeah. But sometimes you do like, what if we take a shot from this angle? What if we take a shot from this angle?
That's a good point.
Right, like, or sometimes if we're doing like a fight scene and I want a close up on something, I'll tell Nick.
Hey.
And we'll just do that really quick.
Because sometimes as the director, he knows what he wants to see. He knows what the final product wants to look like. But as the editor, it comes into the
know what's
technicality.
possible and what's not possible.
You know the technicalities. Hey, you want to see this punch? This is where you got to get it. So as an editor, it's good for editors to be there. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, like the Marty scene. I remember the Marty scene when Nick was had the camera over Johnny when Andrew had his foot on him.
Yeah.
Nick wanted to get him on the right side, but I wanted to get him on the left side so I can have room to put the mic in.
Right.
And it would have looked better. So it would have made more sense to have it having the editor and the director at the same time just makes the post production a lot easier.
Yeah.
Right.
And makes it flow. It'll just save time.
Right.
After.
So the editor basically, guys, anybody that's out there, the editor is not always behind the computer. The editor is there. If he can be there, he's there.
Everyone has to be involved at every step of the way. The actors aren't really as involved in the editing process as everyone else, but you can still get if because editing isn't just at the computer. Editing can happen while you're actually filming. If I said, if I wanted a shot that I thought that would be good if editing say we did a long shot and something didn't look right, so we put in the door to fill it in. Yeah. Right? That was a thing we did there. Just Bruno, go outside. Andrew, go outside. Stand outside the door. We'll get that just in case we need a filler. Yeah. It's like that. So
you get extra shots just in case. As the editor, I have a question.
Let me ask you.
All right, you ask it first.
Speak about the problems and things like that.
Wait. Okay. Let's talk about scene 9.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
Let's talk about scene 9. Can you explain to the audience? Scene 9 is a special scene in the movie.
If you want to, you can actually reenact it. If you want, feel free to.
First, it's okay. Scene 9. What happened was.
Explain what scene it is first.
It's the scene where Giancarlo wakes up and then.
I think it's the last day
at his house.
It's the last day
at his house.
Where he fights Johnny.
Fight Johnny and Marcel. Yeah. He wakes up and then they So it's right after scene 8. So right after Bruno says, "Here we go." As soon as it cuts to inside, that's where scene 9 starts.
Yes, but it's really the second half from when they walk in.
Okay, so we filmed it in 2 days because we didn't have time to film it all in one day. Right. So we ended up filming it in 2 days. And the first day went smoothly, everything was fine. We got everything done. Second day.
Production the second day went pretty smoothly.
Yeah, the second day went. It was perfect. We got everything done. We had a little bit because Marcel had to leave a little early, so we rushed a little bit there. Yeah. But we got it done. It wasn't like we had to rush through anything. Right. So after we left the mic at Giancarlo's house because that's where we filmed the scene, and then the next week they brought it over in my house so I can put the audio and the clips onto my computer, and we plugged in the SD card, and there was no audio clips
at all
for the second day of scene 9. So we had to get
Nicholas was beyond furious.
I was
beyond furious.
I was still recovering from a stomach flu at that point, and so I wasn't really all there. So I had plugged the SD card, and I'm like, "There's nothing on here." And Nick's eyes opened up like he just saw a ghost. He's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm looking through all the folders. I'm like, "There's no audio on the SD card," and Nick. He started banging his head against the wall. He started freaking out.
It was a serious dilemma.
It was because I think you two were editing something at the time that I was supposed to import the things. Yes. So you were still editing because you had the earphones and he heard it. We all just kind of sat there
now what?
What are we gonna do now?
So as an editor, you're the chief editor. How did you come up with the solution?
That was a big speed bump in our production. We had to
took at least a week.
Yeah, we had to refilm everybody's lines. There weren't that many lines. It wasn't that bad.
Re-record everything. We had to Foley for the whole scene.
We
used some audio. There was some we didn't record Giancarlo getting ripped out from under the table, so we didn't have that. So we used the actual camera audio for that. There were a couple of shots where we did use camera audio, but for the most of it, we tried to stay away from that because the mic audio is better. So for the shots that we did have to use the camera audio, we tried to make it better.
Low. We put them very low.
Me and Nick edited.
We noise reduce.
We put noise reduction.
Oh,
We
okay,
raised the bass
sorry,
because
my
the
bad.
camera audio didn't have very much bass. So we raised the bass a little bit. We lowered the highs so it didn't sound as choppy or scratchy.
Yeah.
So like we did what we could.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have enough time to reshoot that whole.
refilm the whole
And
scene.
the shots that like you and Johnny's fight scene, that was. There's
Too
no
good.
way we
It
could have
was too
redone
good.
that. There's no way we could have redone that.
It was
So we
too
had
good.
to use those shots.
So, did you find doing the Foley, that was in particular scene, that was extra Foley. Like we as MGNFilms, we add Foley into every scene, but that was completely made up of Foley.
Yeah, like the footsteps, the door, all that.
Did that become stressful at all?
It did, because like that was
Stairs?
because we were running really low on time at that point. Like it was like a week before two weeks before the deadline. So I'm sure if we had more time, we could have probably Foleyed the entire scene.
Yeah.
But what we did was we prioritized like what would have been better, like what would have been acceptable with camera audio and what wouldn't.
Yeah.
So like the stairs, because there was no other audio, it was just them walking down the stairs. You would have heard like the clicking, the camera, and like things like that. So we had to redo the footsteps, walking down the stairs, also walking to the table.
Yeah.
Once we got to the table, I don't remember if we replaced the lines or not, but
we did replace them.
They spoke their lines, and then Giancarlo getting ripped under the table. There was too much going on, where even if we kept the camera audio in there, but even if we there was too much going on that you wouldn't have heard. You wouldn't have heard the difference.
Yeah.
Anyways, and so yeah, pretty much like it probably would have been better if we didn't have to redo all the audio, but we still had to persevere and make it as good as possible.
That's about it.
Yeah.
All right.